Good day and good evening, and welcome back to Mental Roulette Live with me, Chaiji, but you can just call me Kai. Tonight, we're just playing melee DPS. I'll be cycling through them. Hopefully we'll get a little bit of attention to each one, but you know I have my preferences. I'll try to play all of them anyway. That said, hey Tadama, hey Saras, hey Shorakai, it's been a bit. Hey Jen Monica, hey Snow Shiro, hey Matthew, hey Lana, hey Tess, and hey Zionic Blast, and Tabi, and Dyson, and Ebenhard, and Naomi. Hope you're doing very well. And hey Billy, hope you're doing well as well. And Emily, and Nox, and Cole. Real job day. Wow. Wow. And Caprev, and Gamer. Hope you're doing well as well. Right, I'll probably just start with Viper. See, did that looks a little cursed. I will queue when it says 23. Hey Grabolek, hope you're doing well. And Mandalorian, hope you're doing well as well. The new world of insta-queue DPS. Nah, it's often like that when you're just starting a set of Mental Roulette. What are we getting though? And thank you for celebrating 2 years as part of the Cult of the Pink, Matthew. Thank you so much. That is awesome. I still have to figure out some overlay stuff on that, but thank you so much, Matthew. That is awesome. Two years. Hopefully that's also not how long this instance takes. But yeah, thank you so much for the support, Matthew. For so long. Nay, Neo Swordsman. And Gazel. And Bobomet. And Ezelin. Hope you're doing well. Oh, Agent Monica's here. Fantastic. Yeah, I'm a little bit surprised by this, Billy. I'm like, that's a weird duty to start your daily reset with, isn't it? We're going to be in this for 5 hours? Hopefully not. Complex rotation! We're going even further beyond, Naomi. We're just finding ways to stay. Sometimes MSQ Roulette can really be like that. It's like a time time portal of some sort. It feels like it takes way longer than it does. Something to manage? Oh, like what? Like a debuff or something to put on the enemies? Nah. I'm sure it's fine. Manage your positionals. Oh. Guys, imagine. Think about it. AoE with positionals. Hey, Michaela. Hope you're doing well. No thanks. You know, the weirdest thing, Babomet, is that I feel like it's not that bad with the amount of level 50 duties you get in Mental Roulette, but it's just enough that it is difficult to ignore, right? The new curse changes videos in the works already, it seems. Nah. Nah. But it could have been funny, couldn't it? Each positional you hit gives you a little bit of gauge. Well, they stopped doing that. I believe it was with Endwalker that they made it so that instead of Samurai getting extra gauge when they hit the positional right, they instead just do more damage, and then like you always get the gauge. I'll have you know that in Shadowbringers, it made Samurai, especially in like that awkward level range where they didn't generate very much gauge, very frustrating, because you needed to hit the positionals to just have the resources to, you know, buff your Higanbana on time. And then, like, you hit level 62, and then, like, they just shower you in resources. They're like, you've lived through enough. Here you go. It's on the house. Hey, Zip. Hope you're doing well. And yeah. Just straight out the gate. Boom. Like hitting a speed bump right as you start the car. Yeah, that's a fair point, Gazel, that at the time it really mega sucked because like missing a positional was so painful, but now losing a bit of damage is for the most part, you know, kinda whatever, right? Also, hey, Cat and Ridleyan, hope you're doing well. Oh! Looks like some skipped the cutscene. I should have just tanked that. I'll do that if it does it again. I don't know what compels me. Hey Dan, hope you're doing well. They should have just done that the first time. And is the French version that fast? Or is the Japanese version that fast? Felt like they had already done like 10% of the boss before I came out of the cutscene. Hey, Bolonti. Hope you're doing well. I'm glad to hear that. And hey, Ilya. Hope you're doing well as well. Hopefully it'll get more exciting than this, Bolonti. Alright, are you all ready for some mental roulettes? Oh. There are worse duties? I guess so. At least it seems like our squad is like speeding. Somewhat. Any rotation tips for the Magitech armor? My tip is only use the blaster. The line AoE cannons do less DPS. That's pretty much it. Press 1 a lot, not 2. Congratulations, you mastered it. Hey Sally, hope you're doing well. I mean, you didn't miss much, no. What even is the point of the non-placeable then? That is a fantastic question, Naomi. I don't have an answer for you. Non-placeable is easier for controller players? It might be. I think you can set it so that like your hypothetical cursor is already in a decent position. And then you can just, you know, mash the button. I would be sad if we also got ported to Kumana. It would be acceptable, but I would rather not. You would get to melee LB3? Oh boy, what if there's another melee? Do it faster. Well, I mean, a lot of the time, there's a real possibility the other DPS was doing less damage. It's a possibility. It is a possibility. Yeah, it's fair. The non-placeable is probably easier for controller players, but at the same time, why is it placeable? I'm guessing the real reason why we have specifically those two options is because like that's the main attacks we see the Magitech armors do, so like at least at the time it made sense to be like, well, obviously now you're piloting it, so you should be able to do it as well, right? And I think that's pretty reasonable, right? Like, I can see it, it's just that nowadays we're looking at it like, that's kind of silly. Like, if, like, imagine if one day, like, we start to see, I don't know, mobs that are Reapers or something, and they use something akin to, like, the the Dragoon Hard Stop attack that some enemies will do, well, Lancer Hard Stop, which is like similar to how mobs that use the Warrior's Overpower has like a cast time and things like that. Like imagine if Warrior suddenly got like extreme overpower and it's like overpower but it has like a 5-second cast time, but it's not twice as strong. It's stronger, but it's not worth using. So you're just looking at it like, why do I have this? Like it would kind of feel like that, I think. Overpower, yeah. Congratulations, Tyson. But that's kind of how this feels, I think. That it's like, well, you're using the enemy tools, so you should have their moves, right? But you don't want to. Like maybe there's the argument that like you get to sit there and be like, why are they using that move? Why are they not just using the placed AOE when it does more damage? And maybe the answer there is, well, you're the player, you'll just dodge. Maybe there were some mechanics back in the 2.x version that needed a specific attack to accomplish. Unless they changed it multiple times over the years, then the answer to that is no. I'm pretty sure they didn't change it until they made it 4-man. And before the 4-man change, it was also the ground targeted one is better. Isn't mob overpower also cone AoE? Yeah, it is. But to be fair, Ebenhard, overpower used to be a cone. Then they changed it in Endwalker. Hey, Kraken Mo. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, the thing they changed when they made it 4-man specifically was that there's a whole section that you skip where you go and like get clearance to use the armor and such. And that's just gone. Like when you interact with the elevator thing after the first boss, you could just get teleported past all that. Like there's a whole like elevator down, run through like a courtyard, fight mobs, click a thing, and every individual player has to click the thing, by the way. And then you go up an elevator, and that's where you appear in this version. Like they just deleted that and let you teleport straight to it. Almost as big a loss as of Clip. And that's true, the elevator could just, like, if you weren't on it when people clicked it, you could just, like, get left behind, and you'd have to ask for the elevator back up, and then you'd fall way behind. And it's also worth noting that that whole feature where when the arena closes, they're like, do you want to teleport into the boss arena? I'm like 99% certain that that was something added in either Shadowbringers or Endwalker. Didn't they also remove a lot of content from the previous dungeon? Castra Meridianum, yes, there's a whole section where, like, you know how when you meet with Sid in, like, the second half of the dungeon? He comes out from where there was normally, like, a whole, like, second area you had to explore. But now he just comes from that side. Like, I already did my part. Thank you, Agent Monica. It's just the new relics upgraded. Blondie says, it would be cool if there was a dungeon throwback event or something. I'd love to see how this dungeon used to be. Yeah, I get that. I'll say it's not, like, genuinely you didn't miss much. A large part of how it used to be is that those teleporters, like the one right at the start where you just click a thing and then you teleport somewhere, they were enabled without fighting anything, which meant that the way that these dungeons were usually ran is that a tank would basically run first, and then everyone would just go and click the button. And sometimes, like, if the tank didn't click it in time, I guess they will just die. They'll catch up eventually, it's fine. And you would just continue forward. You didn't need 8 players, you hardly needed a tank. So you would just have the tanks do it, and then, like, they'd probably die. Or if they didn't, congratulations, good for them. Hey Bondi, hope you're doing well.
Look for the lips control panel. It'll be somewhere nearby.
Yeah, I did that too. I've done that too at some point, Naomi. Like, for the most part, those kind of things, someone has to click the button. So you're like, well, like 5 people went to go and click the button, so I'm fine, right? And then you go up and it's like, no, actually, you have to click the button. I remember it got pretty normal, like it was pretty standard that like people would run up to the terminal and like write in chat, guys, remember, everyone has to click it. Dan says, why is this the only cutscene with voice acting? Your guess is as good as mine.
Oh, and don't even think about dying. You're too bloody useful. The interference is getting worse. I don't think the connection will last much.
Like, I ask that every time. It's like, the whole dungeon is voice acted, and I'm pretty sure they didn't cut any of the parts that had, sorry, not voice acted, is cutscenes. Like there's a bunch of cutscenes that could have been voice acted easily. I feel, because it might be a money thing, right? But I don't think they cut any content from these dungeons that had cutscenes in them. Hey Red Master, hope you're doing well.
Instrument of deception.
Voice lines are expensive, yeah. And see, the question, the reason why it confuses me is that, like, the voice actors already came in. Like, I'm wondering how much more would it cost to get the rest of the dungeon voice acted while they're there anyway. I mean, that's true, they cut How Very Glib. That's true, they also cut your option to respond. Ebenhard says, where was Gaius in this scene? He's just up in the ceiling, like just holding on. This will look awesome for my entry. Ching. Hey Necrophits, hope you're doing well. And thank you. Dan says, I could have sworn everything was voiced the first time I did these dungeons. Nope. Case in point, I'm pretty sure Nero has never been voiced.
Nor is this unknown to your masters, which prompts the question, why do they
I'm pretty sure
false deities?
Nero's voiced in MSQ. When?
Men of learning, even the great Louis Soir, to grovel at their feet. The answer? Your masters lack
Gotta bring us post patches?
otherwise.
Really?
For the world of
Huh.
man to mean anything, man must own the world.
4.4 to 4.5. That is quite interesting.
Conflict, to grow rich through conquest. And when the dust of battle settles, it is ever the strong who dictate the fate of the weak.
Might have been both, Matthew.
Knowing this, but a single path is open to the infinite ruler, that of false worship. a path which leads to innovation and death.
A really silly reference.
Only a man of power can rightly steer the course of
So there is this
and in this land of creeping
guys,
audacity,
bring out your bingo cards. There is this mod for Crystal Project, which is like kind of old school Final Fantasy like game, but this mod is like straight up Final Fantasy. Gaius is a boss in the mod, and he does do a monologue, and you're allowed to interrupt him at any point in it. But if you let him finish, the boss fight will begin with your party asleep. Darth Vader's upset with you for the millionth time. Yeah, the reason why I know is because, of course, when I fought him, like, I wanted to see where they were going. Like, how long was this joke going to go? Like, let's see it. How far will you go with this meme? And they went so far as to finish the speech. And even prolong it a bit. I think even how very glib was in it. Oh. After this duty, I'm just gonna need a couple minutes to check something. I just got an important message from Twitch. And that is very glib. Or is it? Yeah. Oh, well. Wouldn't that be crazy if you could skip this part? Splat! And... You see, the thing is, Sally, the exact moment he hit 0.1%, he jumped to the intermission. Like, frame perfect. Because that's how it works, is that he'll stop you from just beating him. Right, I just need to check this thing. Okay. Something that we need to do after stream. You did that. You did it the hardest content in the game. Let's do Samurai next. I'll queue when it says 31. Hey, Haunted Mask. Hope you're doing well. Now that it might not be MSQ, the queue is certainly longer. What's up, Cat? You good? Huh. Oh, Dyson is here. Fantastic. Isn't that one of the rarest duties, right? Ow. If it's rare if you ignore the massive list of possible extremes. I will say that the thing that makes this one rare is more that it's rare in the specific category where you'd normally find it. Enjoy food, Nox. What makes this dungeon really awkward is this upcoming boss. You know what's really funny is with the recent changes of 7.3 where they made it so that boss fights put cast bars on enemies. All of these enemies have those if they have a cast, like if they have a cast of some sort. Isn't that funny? Yep, a boss, right. It's as much a boss fight as the A2N. See? It looks so extreme. Cast bar bigger than the NPC. What even is a tar girl? That is an excellent... is it like someone who's like responsible for something like with gunpowder or something? I don't know much about it, but like that's my best guess. Is something like that. A girl made of tar. Well, I mean, when you're right, you're right. What's a loads woman? Takes longer than the harrowing boss fight. Bachman? Not Bachman! Borkman! That's what he would be called if he was reworked to be a dog. Borkman. Thank you, I'm here all week. No, really, I'm here all week. Hey, Butterfly Spirit, hope you're doing well. What does the Samurai AoE rotation look like these days? Well, it looks the same as it always has. But at low level, you still have a cone as your step 1. Hey, Nozrel, hope you're doing well. Give him lightning attacks, call him Shockman. Hey, Sam, hope you're doing well. Tip your waitress! I'll say level 60 is not too bad. There's like... I have gotten enough of level 60 Black Mage. I'll say that. I'll say that. But if you really push it with the transpose shenanigans you can with Swiftcast and Blizzard 3, there is some opti you can do. And at least you do have double flare. Like, at least you do have that. So it's not too bad. Do you apply Higanbana for AoE? And what do you do with 2 targets? If the targets are expected to live for a full minute, then sure, you'd probably apply Higanbana, but usually in this kind of situation, they won't. But you could, yeah. I'm pretty sure the math checks out that it would be worth it. A particularly funny thing about level 60 Black Mage is that because you're no longer... Right. Since you're no longer using Fire 1 very much, you don't get random Fire Starter instant casts, which makes the whole Swift casting Blizzard 3 thing complicated. It means you have to really, really optimize the use of your Thunder applications to make the most of it. Which is less the case below below that level. Can't remember how big they explode. Oh, I calculated it correctly. I should have used Meditate there. That would have been amazing. Or I should have gone over to the tower over there. That's meant to reduce the damage of that lightning. Colt has never seen this dungeon. Yep. Pretty much, as others said, this is an optional... This is a hard version of an optional dungeon, which means this dungeon is also optional. And you don't need to do it. So if you didn't seek it out, you will probably never have met it. And no worries, Dyson. It's a weird fight. I actually made a video quite a while back specifically about dungeons that you probably never did. Or have never seen before. Exactly because there are dungeons like that. That are hidden away. A mob went invisible. Give him a gun and call him Rock, man. Thank you, Aradil. That is exactly it. But yeah, what can doesn't necessarily for you, but can make like kind of help with making Black Mage a little bit more interesting in this level range is that there is a little bit of an optimization in making sure you finish each Astral Fire stage correctly with an instant, so you can get like so you can Swift Cast Blizzard 3 when Swift Cast is available. But it's like it doesn't give you very much damage, right? Like it's a very, very, very sweaty optimization if we're going to be perfectly honest. But you know, it adds a little bit of a mini game that you can play. Oh no! The Black Mage is watching cutscene! Ow! I think that's also the way I originally found this one, gamer, is that I, like, back in the day, I would, like, I kind of still do that, but I would specifically go out and do every single quest. Including all of the blue quests, of course. And DPS survive a tank buster like that? Probably. Probably. Well, the trick there, Cole, is that there are some things that you can never do without accepting that you have to unlock everything. Oh, I guess I should have used Limit Break. Oh well. I don't have that. Huh. It's not the worst duty to get with Samurai. But yeah, the really random and rare dungeons seem to come up in waves in some strange way. Let's do Reaper, then we can go through doing the old melee DPS after that. I'll queue when it says 30. Oh, that's an overpower. Swansea says, I've gotten Paradigm's Breach 3 days in a row through Alliance Roulette. Were you a replacement? That makes it even weirder. Oh boy. Oh hey Dyson. Mouse says, I kind of miss hard mode dungeons. Yeah, you see the thing that is really funny is that they call them hard mode, or rather hard, but at the same time, in a way, I have a spell. In a way, they were not so much hard, but rather just revisits. Like they didn't have to call them hard. Although, granted, some of them they clearly distinctly felt like it was okay to make the mechanics harder. I'll just act like there's nothing else but the boss. It's fine. We'll make it. Uh-oh. LQ when it says 22. Now he says, a guy looking at the ads, I pretend I do not see it. I'll just be like one of those, I'll just be like a mob in Stranger of Paradise. Well, they're not looking at me, so it would be unreasonable for me to attack. I'll wait my turn, it's fine. It would be it would be not very sportsmanlike to just backstab them. I'll wait. They're looking at the tank right now. I'll fight this guy, who I'm also stabbing in the back, but this is different. Cat says we also have Thokast Thok. Yeah, at some point they decided to just make all the trials have the hard note on them. And then at some point they were like, never mind, and then just stopped doing it. But I will say I also enjoyed many of those, like, dungeon revisits, you could say. And, like, they stopped doing them in Shadowbringers, I believe. Like, just straight up stopped. Incidentally, Shadowbringers also saw less dungeon additions than previous expansions, I'm pretty sure. So... Right. Exaf, hope you're doing well. Like, I'm just saying, if it's because they feel like they can't serve, like, reuse the same dungeon like that anymore, then, like, if it means that we're getting nothing instead, then I would like the reused content dungeon. Ooh. Hey, Insane Apple! Hope you're doing well. Because I think it was too much to do 2 dungeons per patch. Maybe, but what we have now feels a little sparse, doesn't it? But yeah, I get it. Like, I'm just saying, if it was the design department having to, like, put together 2 whole dungeons, that's why I'm like, well, they can... If they reuse basically most of the... you know, terrain of a dungeon, just reuse that, then that at least massively reduces what they need, and then, like, reuse models, then, like, like, then we're starting to get somewhere, right? Maybe that could work. Oh, he doesn't. He doesn't have positionals. That makes things easy for me. Hey, did you meet? Hope you're doing well. I believe the official explanation was that dungeons were low impact content for players and they wanted to put resources dedicated to dungeon dev towards different optional content. Yeah, that's fair, I guess. Is that a chase? Yes, it is. Never mind, it stopped chasing. Considering that I've done this, this boss fight, like, I'd say, 8 times at least, I don't think I've ever been targeted by that. So I wasn't sure what it was. Insane Apple says, how long have you been streaming on Twitch? We started last week. Hey Mia, hope you're doing well. Hey Lone Wolf, hope you're doing well. Yeah, one whole week, just a single stream. I could have probably just tanked that. Oh well. I will also say an extension of what others have said about the whole several dungeons and the low impact and all that is that a lot, like the dungeon that we just did before, Hullbreaker Isle Hard, the reason why a lot of people would be like, I've never seen this dungeon in my life, is because it is optional, which means every time effort is put into making a dungeon, but then it is made optional, then it only, its entire existence only matters when it is current. When it's no longer current, a lot of players will just not do it, which means that it definitely feels like a lot of unnecessary effort, right? They could, of course, solve that, quote-unquote, solve that, by just going, well, we'll just add 2 dungeons in a patch and make both of them mandatory. Like, that's technically an option, right? See which one was that. I'm not necessarily saying that's better. That can also be too much. And it would also, like, just because they're usually, you know, as you said, story set pieces, it would also mean that now suddenly the story that is being told is even more railroaded in a way, because they have to give reason for the story to have 2 dungeons. Right? How many times have you seen Stigma, Dreamscape, or Smileton since Dawntrail? Yeah, exactly, Zam. How many times have you seen the Twinning or Academia Niders and Shadowbringers? How many times have you seen, I don't know, Kugane Castle since Stormblood? I'll queue when it says 28. And the thing, yeah, exactly, they're not bad dungeons. It's just, you don't have any need to unlock them unless you want Mental Roulette, or unless you want to unlock the dungeon. They don't have anything special aside from that. And that's correct, Butterfly Spirit. That is exactly the point, is that Tender Valley, Strayborrow, Deadwalk, now that they are a requirement for, I think, this one, but not this one, you don't need to unlock them. You don't need to unlock them. I might remember incorrectly. It's been a long time, and I don't have like a receipt on it. But I seem to recall in Shadowbringers that, like, once Twinning and Academia Nider started to slide out of relevancy already, like, you started to meet people in, like, 5.3 who was like, what's that dungeon? Like, what do you mean the Twinning? Where's that song from? Because you didn't need it. And that's true, Cole. That is actually part of the, like, that's kind of the whole point of my, of that video I made recently about vertical progression MMOs and horizontal progression MMOs. Lozzie says, won't it be faster to mentor on light since Chaos is dead? Lozzie, here's a really, really important lesson here. The people on Chaos queuing for duties are here. The people doing party finder stuff go to light. There's plenty of people on Chaos. When I was doing mental roulettes on light, I didn't experience any faster roulette pops. So, let me put it like this, Lozzie. Take what you think you know, and then realize that it goes a little deeper. It's just that party finder has gone to light. And also, I'm from Chaos. And I haven't had problems in the past. That's also fair, Lozzie, but some people come home. How big are those? Oh, I thought they were way bigger. Never mind. Oh. Knockback immunity denied. Oh, that's really scary. So the tank bust on this boss, like it's not deadly if a DPS gets it, of course, but it looks like a tether you're meant to break, and if the off tank tries to run away to break it, it's very likely that it'll suddenly tether to whoever's now closest to the main tank. And suddenly a melee just gets clobbered out of nowhere. Speaking of getting clobbered, ah, whoops. That was not meant to be that. Well, maybe we won't get a 2-minute burst. The boss is nearing death anyway. Maybe my mistake will not matter. Well, technically I could have had an offbeat tornado kick now. But let's just act like that isn't the case, right guys? Nathan, okay. Hope you're doing well. Ow! Looks like the Dark Knight knew me. An Omega Day in Mental Roulette. I'm switching through the melee DPS, yeah. I'll queue at 21. 21? Yeah, what could sometimes make it work, Sam, is if you just put some glam in the optional dungeons. That can sometimes be enough, but a lot of the time, like you will only get the players who are like, oh, I like that specific outfit. So, like, you're putting a lot of effort into, like, a very specific selection of players. Again, you could possibly solve it by just putting the dungeon in the, like, on the main quest. So you can't skip it. And yeah, also as Cole says, like, it'll probably mainly result in players, like once it's no longer current, people will just, like, do it unsynced or something. Which class is the most interesting rotation at level 1? Every job basically has one button at level 1. However, if that's all we have to work with, I would elect Red Mage. Because at level 1, their rotation is technically melee. But they're a mage. Because their first action is riposte. Yeah, stab mage, exactly. Isn't black mage really weird at super low level? At level 1, you only have Blizzard. And because you only have Blizzard, it does, like, it's basically just meh. Also, good point, Lone Wolf. If Blue Mage had, like, if you could be Blue Mage at level 1 with a bunch of options, it could be interesting. I'll say ham. Hope you're doing well. Redmaster says, I've noticed on a lot of your mental related, when you get ninja, you for some reason seem to get very high level stuff. Yes! Why? Like, I'm like, if I go Viper, Reaper, or Samurai, even Monk, probably also Dragoon, you can give me pretty much any level duty and I'll be fine. Ninja, I would prefer to not get, like, max. Like, I would actually prefer if you just give me, like, a level 50 duty or something. I'm good. No, when I go ninja, that's when I get, like, I don't know, Straper or Deadwalk with, like, a meh group, so I really have to bring it. Deep Dungeon is a melee character if you play Red Mage. Only at level 1. And you get Jolt super fast, but it's just really funny that you start with Riposte, not Jolt. Exactly, Mia. Go Ninja, you're like, oh man, let's get something where I don't have to get super complicated with the burst. Nope, here you go. Wicked Thunder. Shoot, go Viper. Okay, give me anything you've got. Praetorium. I mean, that, like, Red Mage and to some degree Samurai are, like, excellent examples of jobs where you can see that their toolkits would be ridiculous if they actually started at level 1. Like, I'm actually... If I would, like, I think it's actually an interesting thought experiment, maybe. How would Samurai actually look design-wise if it was a job that started at level 1? Because they would get their first... they would get their first Iaijutsu at level 30... and it would be Higanbana. I feel like that's a terrible idea if it was like a job that actually started at level 1. Like, imagine your first class is like... Well, basically, like, it becomes Samurai. And then you have, like, your spender is Higanbana. You just sit with that resource for a minute and can't spend it because you already have your dot up. That seems terribly poorly designed. One way they could do it, yeah, Butterfly Spirit, is they could just have a trait that makes Higanbana last longer as you level up higher. Have you played Samurai and Cutter's Cry? I have, yes. That, like, cool. That's also why when I made a video of, like, job suggestions to, like, help with quality of life and, like, improve the experience of the job, I was like, give Paladin Holy Spirit earlier. completely invert the order in which samurai gets their EI jutsus, and like just make it so that it like gradually fixes itself. Like just make it so that you get a baby Midare Zetsugekka for one EI jutsu when you don't have Kasha, so that you can actually use your spender, things like that. But like the game kind of fixes it by being like, well, you shouldn't be level 38 or whatever with samurai. It's a serviceable solution. It's acceptable. It's not great, but it's there. But yeah, if they made it so that Higanbano was super short, like more concentrated or something, then they could make it work as you leveled up. And then like every X levels, the dot becomes longer or something. Like, they have done that in the past. As I mentioned, back in A Realm Reborn, a Venomous Bite started at like 9 seconds. And then it doubled. The main problem I have with high-level ninja is that it's a similar problem to certain other jobs where ninja just happens to like push it to the limit the hardest, in that it has a lot of options where the order doesn't really matter. Like, you can do it whatever order you want to some degree, but it slightly matters. And because it doesn't really, but only slightly matters, I can easily get like pause for a second because I'm like, which one do I choose? Where it would have been way easier if there was an obvious choice. Ayla spawn! Hope you're doing well. Some classes feel awful at lower levels. Yeah, some of them don't feel super great. Bam, 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 bam. Oh, Nox is here. Fukuda also knows me. Fantastic. We've covered the DPS angle. We have one Mentor tank. Hey, Cobalt, hope you're doing well. Yeah, I wasn't sure if it was worth holding, but here we are. I didn't mean to use that one, I wanted to use the other one. Oh well. Low Little Dragoon makes me miss Spine Shatter. Yeah. I get that. Pretty funny. Whoops. It used to do E way less damage, if I remember correctly. Well, we're going to have healer problems really, really fast. Because the healer we have that is living either doesn't care or doesn't realize that they're building this debuff. And the other healer seems to have trouble staying alive. Oh boy. Oh, I need to get away from here. Ow. The worst AI extreme to get in Mental Roulette? I would say it's Thornmarsh. Hey Michael, hope you're doing well. That's a weird way to say that, Overlay. I don't think that's what Slushy did. However, thank you so much for the 10 months as part of the Cult of the Peg, Slushy. Thank you so much for the support. Mm. Oh, whoops. Oh, people are doing well. That moment when you can't hide the names in a ready check. Did that cat girl say fish? It's Nox. Of course they did. Oh boy. I sure hope the paladin doesn't suddenly die. My main is probably still Black Mage. Both healers were so focused on healing people. You might have scared the healers too much with the debuff. I might have. It's really difficult to both bring the point home. Don't spam heal that tank while also being like, well, you have to heal them sometimes. What if Black Mage was removed? What would you choose? I'd probably be playing Viper. For DPS specifically. Maybe Pictomancer. It's just one of those days. Leviathan is really tough because it's one of those where there's a lot of things happening and a lot of it is like the reason why it's going wrong is because of like a mixture of it all at once. So when you wipe, it's not as simple as, oh, just do this differently. You know, I'm just gonna hold my buffs and burst for when ads arrive. Because usually you get stopgapped by the boss becoming invulnerable in this phase anyway. So I'm just going to be ready to unleash. Oh boy. There's a possibility that we don't need the converter, and I don't know for sure. And I don't know if I made it there either. I didn't. I think? Or either, or we also just maybe just didn't have very much power. Someone got too focused on the party frames again. Does Rio Collie proc the debuff? Yes, it does. Does it make healing numbers appear immediately? If it's a hot, it doesn't count. But if it does upfront healing, it counts, which means regen doesn't count, but aspected benefit does. I think I'll just do that in phase 1 as well. Hold cooldowns and then just smash the wave to them immediately. Cardia doesn't count, quite interestingly. Which makes like double Sage like godlike for this specific bit. Incredibly convenient. Which is how we did it 3-man. 1 tank, 2 Sages. Any markers? Hope you're doing well. Don't know if you all saw it, but our warrior there got stuck in a chain of fearing into the dread thing, so that they got feared for like 15 seconds, just over and over and over again. Oh boy. I think our other tank will die. Nope, just barely not. But it is quite interesting because this fight is like when it's only the Leviathan on the field, it's actually pretty easy. Like, it completely breaks a lot of the things you'd normally do in this game. Like, it's actually, in my opinion, it's almost always more effective to just don't use anything on the boss. Just hold cooldowns and then just burst whenever, like, ads appear. And I'm reminded of it each time I'm here. Like, sometimes you'll have a group that is such a pumper group that it doesn't matter, so you just send it. But other times it'll be different. Why do I switch between controls? Well, I like to use one type on certain bosses, and I have a preference for another type for other things. I'm usually pretty all in on standard controls, but recently I've given Legacy more of a chance to be able to have better insight on both Psionic. So it's basically, it's because I'm a teacher. That's the true reason. It's because I like to know for your convenience. Hey, Connie! And Catalyst. Hope you're doing well. Hey Cabal, hope you're doing well. Examples on minimum item level, we rely on stunning the wave 2, and you can do that only when it hasn't started the cast. That is also a way to do it. I've just kind of gotten to the conclusion that telling randos to do that will not happen. I'll say Eyelid, hope you're doing well. Which A Realm Reborn extreme suffers the most from power creep? Ultimate weapon. Like, genuinely, if you want to see what I mean by that, try and run Ultimate Weapon. Like, just if you have people, you can also just check my VOD of doing Extreme Countdown. I have a playlist. You'll notice that as we like reduce the player count, more and more mechanics happen, and the mechanics happen in a more natural order and in a more natural pace. Because it's a lot of the mechanics are health threshold based. So, like, because of power creep, he has to do too many things too fast. Like, it's incredibly obvious. And it's also like the very first one, I believe. So it's like the one that is most impacted by it, right? It being power creep. I didn't mean to do that. Ow. I think that was being in front of the boss. That's too late. It's been a while since I've been this long on Leviathan Extreme. Some of them did, Jomi. Some of them didn't. How does Dragoon at 50 feel? It's alright. It has enough tools that you can do some stuff. Notably, I can hold cooldowns to actually burst a bit as needed. Hey, Mr. Fornatos. Hope you're doing well. It's actually a new thing, exactly because I know some people prefer that. Sure, everyone has the best possible experience for them. But it's very new. I'm pretty sure that means no converter, and yeah, the converter's not available. Healer dead. Double healer dead, I think. No, one of them used knockback immunity, I think. We'll have to talk about those after this pull. The boss is invulnerable, so if you can build resources or something, you can do that, but other than that, you just wait until this. And I think healer dead, maybe? Yeah, well, one healer dead. I broke my combo completely, but we might be able to... Like, this maybe is winnable if the tank survives. And boom. It might be winnable if the healer can keep steady and rest someone and survive. Yeah, exactly, Mr. Pronatos. Might be possible if the tank survives. Oh, there's the tank. Never mind. Never mind. Well, thanks, Seraph. Hope you're doing well. Oh boy. That's correct, Mr. Fornatos. If you stun it before the cast starts, you can, as Zav said. I might have to go over that if this keeps being a problem. But I have a feeling that that's not the problem. If that makes any sense. Like, that's not going to be what makes the difference. Ultimately, making the team focus on something like... I think the tank is going to die. But if we wipe now, that will definitely be what we're talking about next. Yeah, I was actually thinking that too, Cat. That seems to be the problem. Is that our healers get too focused on getting everyone alive. And then, like, the moment anyone dies, everything just goes redacted. Mr. Fronatos, you can end up with stacks as a sage because you've creation diagnosis, you've creation prognosis, regular diagnosis, regular prognosis. They can build stacks, and the tank who is tanking the tail appears to be taking a significant amount of damage. That the Cardia doesn't seem to be enough. I'll say, Andriel, hope you're doing well. That's also true, Jomi. Just remember that Keracholi doesn't heal at this level, so... Well, it might help. It's not as godlike as it is at higher levels. It should, yeah, Mr. Fronatos. The problem is that maybe they don't do that consistently. I don't know. I'm just saying, I'm not necessarily counting it as a mistake that the healers building stacks, even if it is possible that they might not need to. Just a random note, the Sage said that this is their last try, so we may need to find a quick replacement very soon. Oh, whoops, that reflects, don't want that. Hey Jellis, hope you're doing well. I am on Chaos. I mean, I'm genuinely not trying to like single out the healers. It's an unfortunate coincidence that a lot of the problems we're running into can be traced back to healers need to do something different. And I can't change that. Like, I'm doing everything I can. Like, I'm holding cooldowns to make sure that the ads die as quickly as possible. That's all I can do. It's everything I can do for them. And the tanks, like, they're holding the mobs. Like, they're doing what they can do. And this fight is like a huge, like, a cluster truck, I guess. Absolute craziness. So, hey Ultima, hope you're doing well. Yes, technically White Mage does have Medica 2 at level 50. That is not converter time. And that's a wipe. There's no need for that. You can just leave if you have to leave. We have the replace gang. Fantastic. Fantastic. You found replacements quick? Yeah, I know, right, Shaq? It usually comes with streaming, the problems. There'll be like people like ready to go. Ah, whoops. Wow. Ah, right, knockback immunity. I was a little worried. I have, silly. There's also the fake out that can sometimes happen when you don't kill the Gyospumes fast enough, where Leviathan will like go and do an intermission of some kind instead. Which essentially means that you put it up way too early and then you die. I'm pretty sure we need this now, and it's very small. Hopefully we live. Oh man, that is one of those really unfortunate timings. Because we killed the Gyospumes too fast. We killed them too fast, so he moved on to the next mechanic. So he just moved to, oh well, if you're already ready, then I'll just do this. I did it again. I did it again. Okay, we're good. We're good. We just need to keep steady, and then we will win. Smallest HP got to lose. No, silly. If you don't kill the Gyospumes fast enough so the elemental converter isn't available, he'll do like sideways dashes first. I don't know if it's entirely his HP that does it, but I've only seen it when people kill the Gyospumes super fast, that this specifically happens. GG first try, yeah. Easy. The 40 minutes of it was just us memeing around. The last try, like the last bit there, was the only one where we were actually trying. The spumes need to be dead for you to actually keep getting energy for you. That's correct, silly, but what can specifically happen is that it seems to me that Leviathan will not do the whole raid-wide thing if the converter isn't even available. Which means that if you're super slow on the spumes, then he sometimes will just wait, in my experience. So sometimes it'll play out in this way. It could be HP threshold stuff, but at the very least, whatever happened, we didn't get enough converter energy in time. Which is why some people straight up just died. But we made it. Now, good thing we could get a clear for whoever may have needed that clear. I say, Tosaka, hope you're doing well. But yeah, there is a point to be had that it seemed like the white mage just wanted to use Cure 2. Just really wanted to use Cure 2. Harry says, how many Bachmans have we met today? 0. Yeah, we've been going through each melee, but we've just gotten to ninja. We just cleared Cole. Anyway, I'll queue when it says 19. Both of our healers suddenly left. And we got 2 gamer healer replacements, and we beat it really easily. Well. Desync between webcam and voice? I hope not. Is that a thing, guys? It should look the exact same on both platforms. Okay. I mean, it could be. That's why I'm asking. I couldn't see anything, and it's impossible for me to tell. Thank you, guys. It's a shame that we couldn't do it with the initial team, but it did seem like the healers were having a particularly hard time. And that is sometimes how it is. Like, that's the thing. Ultima says, what is the hardest extreme in A Realm Reborn in your opinion? For the most part, it really comes down to any extreme where the players that need to know what they're doing don't know what they're doing. It doesn't matter which ones, really. But I would say that Thornmarsh is the one where you can the most easily just not be able to do it. Because it requires any player to not pay attention and not listen. Just any one player, and then you can't do it. Between the rest, like second place, I would probably say, yeah, I would probably actually say Leviathan. Mainly because it has it's not that bad, but it has so much chaos going on and so many mechanics causing problems. So Saga says, isn't Ramu complained about regarding EX or IR? The main reason why Ramu is the one people complain about is because it's the most prominent. It's one of those that appear just out of nowhere, so people are most likely to just try it. It's the one I see the most. So it would be the one complained about the most, even if it's not the hardest one. Ramu is definitely up there as well, because if you go in and either one of your tanks don't know what to do, you're already in trouble. Again, you need, if you have barrier healers, like double barrier healers, you can pretty easily solo tank it. So you can just ignore that one of your tanks is bad. But if you don't have that, then you pretty much need both tanks to know what they're doing. But every single AI extreme has something like that. Like, Ifrit, if either one of your healers are not paying attention and are not, listening, then you're just screwed. Because if they don't move away with Searing Winds, you're gonna lose. Like, I had on stream a run of Ifrit Extreme where we wiped 3 times to a mentor healer, by the way, who said that people were taking too much damage from breaking the nails in too quick succession, while people were dying because the player was standing on top of others and searing winding them to death. And each time we mentioned it, they were basically just going, la 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 la, can't hear you, you're dying to nails, that's the reason. It's not because I'm doing something wrong, I'm perfect. And the moment they did as they were asked, we beat it next try. The moment they paid attention, boom, cleared. So any one of the extremes can be a problem. I would say Ultima Weapon is like the one where as long as you have enough people paying attention, it doesn't matter if there's someone memeing it up. But it really randomly depends on what you have. That's also why, like, I very recently put out a video about this exact problem. There's nothing wrong with the Realm Reborn extremes and Mentor Roulette. There's not even a problem with Heavensward Mentor Roulette. Oh, you see this? I queue as Ninja. And now I get the max level duty. But yeah, the video is basically like, the problem is not people queuing for extremes. It's not people queuing for extremes. The problem looks like the Pictomancer knows me. The problem is specifically with the people, and that was a wrong order, that queue, that don't know what they're doing. That's the only problem. So, like, if like, let me put it like this: if every group that queued for extremes, like, if only players that knew what they were doing and were had prepared themselves for what they were getting into, queued for extremes, then it would be cake. Even if they had even if they weren't like turbo gamers, if they were ready to bring it, it would be easy and no one would be complaining. And yeah, the problem there, Tosaga, is basically that a lot of players, like, here's the thing, the game does not dress you up to know what you're getting into when you queue for an extreme. It does not properly warn you. So a lot of players get memed on because the game doesn't really try to warn you. Which is really funny, because when you reach Sastasha, the game nowadays is like, oh, you have to be aware, you're getting into content with other human beings now, possibly. Well, this is really awkward. This is why I don't like Ninja and Dungeons. All my cooldowns are weird. I hate it here. Yeah. But yeah, like, basically what I'm saying is, like, I'm not here going, wah, I don't want extremes in my Mentor Roulette. I don't care. It's just, it would be a lot more enjoyable if like, we were all on the same page. Like, for instance, the two healers we had in the Leviathan extreme just now. Like, they were trying really hard. Like, they were probably trying their best. But I don't know if they were actually ready for the kind of chops they needed to have for that duty. That was the problem. And they might never have known that that was what was expected of them. So that's an only class you can lock yourself out of an ability, correct? What do you mean, Tozaka? On Ninja? Well, I mean, Monk can kinda goof themselves too. They can accidentally use Celestial Revolution, but yeah, like, Bunny is particularly problematic, I suppose. Sam says, I think people will always misjudge and increase challenge the first time they come across it. Indeed, Sam, and indeed, if the game was like, when you queue for when you unlock an extreme for the first time, or even when you queue for it for the first time, the game is like, are you sure you want this? You have to be aware that it is harder content. How quickly do you think that person will close that random pop-up they just got? Like any bets on how many on how many frames it'll take before they close it? If you catch my meaning. Like, that window is gone. As many frames as it takes them to close a discard pop-up, yeah. Yeah, exactly. It's like, that's also why I often take a little bit of issue with so many other things in Final Fantasy XIV, where like if you go and check, you might be able to say, well, actually the game did actually go and teach you this thing. It did tell you, but they told you in like some random pop-up, like or in a text box or something. Like if you meet a healer that has done the Hall of the Novice, like if they have the brand new ring, then they have no excuse to not be attacking. Like, they can't point to, well, I'm a healer, I shouldn't be attacking, or whatever excuse they want to come up with, because the smith, or rather the teacher in that particular duty context, tells you, like, he will barrage you with reminders to attack if you don't attack when the tank is full HP. He'll just spam you with it. Well, he'll not spam you, but he every so often will be like, oh, by the way, if the tank is fine, you could, you can sneak in and attack. If you know what I mean. So you don't have an excuse. But it's a text message, and it's an optional task. So, you know. Oh, whoops. Not many do Hall of the Novice. Actually, I think a lot of people do Hall of the Novice. Like, a lot of the time you'll see them with a brand new ring if they're in the level appropriate range. But a whole different thing, Harry, is not a lot of people listen to Hall of the Novice. Is what I think. There's also another thing that I think we've talked about before on streams is... if they made Hall of the Novice mandatory, that wouldn't necessarily mean that people paid more attention to it. It would mean that they would do it. But that doesn't mean that they would actually listen. And yeah, exactly, Andreal. The part of the problem is that a lot of the things that the game, quote-unquote, doesn't teach you is because the game pretty much only teaches it to you in the random pop-ups and text. And a lot of the time, those text messages appear at a really inconvenient time. I believe they have the pop-up explaining what a limit break is either before you do Porta de Cumana, during the Porta de Cumana fight itself, or after Porta de Cumana. And if you get it before the duty, you're too busy wanting to do the duty, so you will not read it. If they do it during it, you're in a boss fight. Like, are you kidding me? And if they do it after, it's a little too late, right? I think Zaf would be able to know the answer to that one. Also, Fern! He says, people new to healing think my job is to only heal. The thing is, to be fair, other games are getting better and better and better at like following this trend as well, that it is a little boring for healers to just do nothing when they don't have to heal anything. But like relative to MMOs, Final Fantasy XIV is kinda like the first mover on that a little bit. So if you came from a different MMO, it might be completely insane to imagine that the healer should be attacking. And if your last MMO was a decade ago, which is possible, then it might be completely ridiculous to think. No one noticed that both the tank and the healer died at the end. But yeah, that is also a good point. Like the whole Realm Reborn Conjurer questline, I believe, is about that that girl that is like, I'm good at healing. I don't want to do anything else. Which is a little ironic, isn't it? Caprev says, I used to hit stuff with my weapon in Classic WoW when I was healer. Me too! Like, I immediately clocked because I had already played Final Fantasy 14, I was like, and like it was years after original vanilla WoW, right? I was like, just because I'm healing doesn't mean I can't auto-attack. Like, it's not gonna do much, but in like a low-level dungeon, it still does something. Like, everything helps. Exactly, 2 plus DPS is still more damage. And just to be clear, in those low levels, a healer attacking in like Wailing Caverns will still do like maybe like 50% of their damage of the tank. Okay, maybe less than that. But they will do a significant amount of damage just auto-attacking. It doesn't cost them anything. It just requires them to switch to attacking an enemy instead of just parking their target on the tank. Which is, you know, wow, you can use mouse over macros, so... I will queue when it says 25. That's also a fair call. It is a little difficult because it's possible that the reason why the amount of damage healers can do have increased over the years in 14, for instance, could be to try and incentivize healers more and more to attack. But the ones that are attacking would have attacked if healers did half the damage or a fourth of the damage that they do. The healers that are not attacking probably are not convinced. Even if healers did just as much damage as a DPS, they'd just be like, well, if it's so important to you, why don't you go healer and do the attacking? I don't like to attack. Which, again, bro. Where are we going next? It's normal. It's normal. Whew. Guy's favorite duty. It's tough. And I agree, Cole. It feels like because we have so many OGCDs, you can do most of the healing without like using your actual spells. It kind of leads to healers being like attacking while just spending their left hand to do the healing, right? Griefing or playstyle choice? To not attack? Like as a healer? Is that your question, Harry? Is not attacking as a healer griefing or playstyle choice? Is a healer. It's not griefing. It's not griefing. But the counter question, is it griefing as a tank to not use defensive cooldowns? At all. Like 0 defensive cooldowns. Is that griefing as a tank? In your opinion? Because the reason why I'm saying it's not necessarily griefing, but you're kind of being a jerk to your team, isn't it? Is because in most casual content, the tank can get away with not using any defensives, and if the healer heals enough, it's fine, right? So the tank not using defensives just puts more work for the healer. The healer not attacking puts more work for everyone else, which is kind of a jerk move, isn't it? So it kind of depends on your definition of griefing, I think. Both corny. If you're still clearing the content, is it really griefing? That's the thing, is that it's like, it's not necessarily griefing, but you can also beat a lot of content while actively griefing. Like, I think you may have seen my Ramu Extreme, where we had someone who was basically counterproductive to the party's success, and we still won. So just because you can beat something while people play badly doesn't mean that it isn't griefing. But I don't think not doing something in that context equals griefing, but it is definitely a jerk move. Uh-oh. We have a Pokeball. But yeah, basically, what I'm trying to get at here is not attacking when you could have attacked as a healer is not necessarily griefing. Like, you're not actively trying to prevent the success of your party, but you might be actively lazy. Like, you're possibly making it harder as a result. And it's more like, I don't think it's a playstyle choice. I don't think it qualifies as a playstyle choice. Because if that qualifies as a playstyle choice, then me as a Viper choosing to stop attacking and just dance on the spot for 5 seconds after I've performed my Reawaken combo would also qualify as a playstyle choice, in my opinion. Because what is the healer going to do with that free time? Right? What are they going to do with that free time? But the key here is that I might mention to a healer that, hey, you could attack here. I might mention that. But if it's a duty where, like, we're going to succeed anyway, then I'm probably just going to be like, whatever. Hey Shy, hope you're doing well. Harry says some people do play bad, but that's not reportable. That's true. It's not illegal to be bad at Final Fantasy XIV. But that's also see, Harry, just quickly concluding on this one. The key difference here is that if you're new, you're a new healer, you're a little scared, you don't know how much you can get away with. You're focused on the healing. You don't want to attack. You're learning. That's okay. But if you're still doing that in a level 100 duty, and it's like not your first time doing it, I would say long before that point, you should probably have grown more. But at that point, we can probably agree that you slacked a little too hard on the learning the job you're playing department if you're still not attacking at all at that point. Right? And indeed, as Andriel says, you can't know if it's on purpose or not. And the thing is also that whenever I say to attack, I'm specifically not saying you have to attack all the time. It's entirely try attacking. If someone is just standing there doing nothing, try attacking. If someone starts dancing or doing emotes because they have all that time, because they're not attacking, then I'm actually going to be a little annoyed. Because at that point, they recognize that they are safe to do whatever. And they're choosing to do nothing. I will queue when it says 49. Yeah, indeed, Cole. The amount of healers that would do that, like not do the not attacking at all, at a certain point, they're rare. They're definitely rare. The funny thing is that the few that are there have a tendency to be quite defensive about it. But I've talked at length about this in videos in the past. The way I've tried to describe it to the best of my ability is, if they reach like level 90 as a healer and they've never attacked, like they don't attack in dungeons, they straight up just don't. They just heal. If you start trying to convince them then, for them to accept that you're right, it means that they have played that healer wrong for, I don't know, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 hours, depending on how long it took them to level the job. And that's really difficult to stomach for a brain. That you've been doing it wrong for that long. At that point, you'd think that you'd kinda know how to play the game, right? And if that's wrong, then you've been playing completely incorrectly for all that time. And that, I believe, is the most likely reason that a healer that has gotten that far in the game refuse advice in regards to maybe you should start attacking, is because they've, like, at some point dug a trench, made a bunker, and decided this is how I do things. But they're rare because a lot of people are reasonable, right? So it's like a super rare find. Like an ice mage in a Stormblood duty would also be a rare find. Because I think most black mages, or most people playing black mage at all, if they're going ice mage, it would probably stop being interesting before that. They'd lose interest. And that's also true, Harry. There are cases where you have to heal. But just to be clear here, Harry, no one's saying that you can't cast healing spells. The point that is being made is, if you're just standing there and you don't have any reason to stand there, then if you're not attacking, then you're like, you're not doing as much as you could do for your party. And I will also be like, that's weird if I see one of my party members just auto-attacking and not doing anything if it's a DPS. Also normal, guys. Whenever I see any of these Heavensward trials, that's the first thing I do is I glance over at this and like, is it extreme? Just so I know what I'm dealing with. Yes, it is. Hope you're doing well. We're doing some legacy gaming, Cole. I should have started meditating earlier. Run! Ow! Eh. Yeah, the reason why I even bring it up, Dosaka, is because if it's an extreme, it's a much bigger deal. That's the reason. It's not because it's a problem, or if it's even rare. It's just, if it was thought an extreme, it might actually be tough. Oh wait, that plays a circle. Never mind. I'll just not meditate, it's fine. Wow. Harry, I have a question. Why is a warrior not using bloodwetting because they want the healer to heal more griefing than a Dark Knight not using TBN for the same reason? Isn't the reason itself the grief, if you really think about it? Like, the grief here is, I'm not doing a thing because I want you to work harder. Isn't that the grief, when you really think about it? LQ when it says 31. Sometimes they forget no MP. No, Harry, I think you didn't hear what I said. I said, why is a warrior not using bloodwetting? Because they want the healer to work harder. More griefing than a Dark Knight not using TBN because they want the healer to work harder. You see what I mean? It's not about that. And also, just to be clear, if the Dark Knight wanted to, they can generate enough resources to basically use TBN on cooldown. If they wanted to, they can. Almost. Like, right, if you spam out edges immediately, then you will not. But if you actually just spam TBN, you can. Just spam it on cooldown and just use all your resources. Harry? Not all warriors are good at defensive cooldown management. Not all warriors are good at defensive cooldown management. They just forget Bloodwetting is a button they have. Like, basically, Harry, the excuse you're giving the Dark Knight is, well, if the Dark Knight is bad, it's okay. But the thing you're putting the warrior in is deliberately choosing to be bad. I'm grabbing the Dark Knight out of the but what if they're bad situation and saying, what if they're choosing to be bad? Then it's the same situation. I think the reason is that you're like, well, Bloodwetting basically makes you impervious to damage, so it's unreasonable they're not using it. But TBN helps a lot too. So if you know what you're doing, then it's not really okay to choose not to because you want the healer to work harder. Like, both are kind of quote-unquote griefing if you're deliberately choosing to slack to make the healer work harder. Like, it's important wording here, right? Is if you, the tank, you have an option, you know it exists, you know you have it, and you're choosing not to use it to make the healer heal more, then you're the jerk, right? And it doesn't matter if it's TBN or Bloodwetting or Hallowed Ground or Holy Sheltron or Heart of Corundum or what have you. If you have an option, you know you could use it, and you're just not because you want the healer to work harder, then it's kind of a jerk move. In the same way, if we just like spin the table for a moment, we grab the healer and go, if you know that you have free time and you're choosing not to use it to attack, you either have an extremely good reason to do that, or you're kind of being a jerk. But the key is if you know. But in the moment that we move the playing field to, but what if they don't know? Like, if they are a sprout, or if they are learning the job, then suddenly it's a whole different story, right? And it's not, well, they're level 100, they should know. If they don't, they don't. And then we're on the same page again. Like, I have had warrior tanks that either didn't use Bloodwetting or used Bloodwetting in an incredibly stupid way, which made it incredibly unhelpful. And like, they exist. And if you can carry that as a healer, you could make the most of it. You could learn something. But you could also give them a tip. Like, hey, do you mind if I give you a little suggestion? And if they're open to that, boom, you can solve the problem looking forward. If they're not open to that, well, then it becomes complicated again. You know, to your story there, Zav, I think it was back in like super late Endwalker, and I do believe I have a Roulette video on it from there. It's in the Endwalker playlist, for those that might go, no, I watched all of them and I don't think I saw it. There's a separate Endwalker playlist. Where we were in, I think it was Lapis Manalis, where I had a healer who was aggressively healing me at all times and I was playing warrior. And I asked him like, hey, listen, you don't have to spam heal me all the time. I have options too. And they just sent a smiley. And I was like, okay, listen, try and not heal me at all on the next pull. If I die, it's okay. I'll take that. But just let me show you. And they said, okay, smiley face, and healed me anyway. I was just like, well, then I can't do anything for you, man. This is your opportunity to learn something, and you squandered it, so whatever. Whatever. Actually, Fern, I think I might have the answer for you on that. And the truth might be more concerning than you think. I don't mean to throw my friend under the bus, so I'm just going to not name him. But a friend of mine who I have known at least since Shadowbringers, okay? In Endwalker, I finally convinced him to let me teach him something about how to play Machinist because he mained Machinist. I thought we were going to start by going over, how the general rotation works. I had to start by explaining to him what the difference between a GCD and OGCD is, and he had to learn that the Gauss round and Ricochet were not useless, in fact. He later reached the end of Dawntrail. LQ when it says 7. And he switched to Reaper, and he used the AoE Reaper is in Shroud attack on a single target boss in Alexandria. Yeah, Andriel, he was often just randomly using things like Drill or Hypercharge. He might not even realize that. I know, Tosaka, but the key is he didn't realize... He'd never tried to use Gauss round in between GCDs and such. The key is... This person plays Final Fantasy XIV in short bursts. Usually he does the MSQ, then he plays a little bit extra on the side. Sometimes he'll be excited for some side content, and that's when he becomes interested in actually, diving deeper into the game. But then he'll either get that done or he'll lose interest, and then he'll be gone for 2, 4, 6 months. And that kind of player can, emphasis, is able to, can keep up with the MSQ. And they can reach max level. And they can do the current rate tier on normal. They can reach that. And they don't need to learn anything to get to that point. And, I'm telling you, I have videos on this, and when people say, sometimes I'll have people that are like, nah, you're just making up a straw man, that player doesn't exist. And I'm like, he's right there! And I could point at random strangers I meet in Roulette, or literally people I know. I'm not trying to throw them under the bus or be like, oh, you're a big meanie pants because you're not putting in the effort or whatever. It's straight up, they exist, and it's just because, they don't put in the same effort as more dedicated players. And for that reason, they might not know better. And it's just they just play the game super casually, so they don't ever care to go look deeper. Oh, Odin, fantastic. That's not so bad. Where would be a good start for someone to start learning Savage content? I've been keen to start learning them, but I'm still a bit nervous and scared. I actually have a video guide on how to start on Savage. But ultimately, nothing will quite prepare you like just jumping into it. But I recommend, if you haven't done extremes, maybe do some of the current extremes first. If you haven't done practice your rotation on a striking dummy or something, maybe do that first. But just work your way up. And the best way is to just dive in. M5S Dancing Green is actually a pretty good introduction, I would say. Thank you, Ardell. Jill Hill in the chat has put a link for you, Belonti, if you don't know where, like if you can't find the video I mentioned. But yeah, I highly recommend, like, if you haven't done so yet, you might just want to, like, really take some quality time with a striking dummy. Really mega practice, so you're absolutely certain that you know how to play your job. It's not necessarily that you need to do all that, but it'll help with your confidence. That you know that you really, like, you really worked to prepare yourself. It'll help you when it comes to it. Oh, whoops. I'm over here thinking I'll just reapply my Death's Design in the last moment, and then I forget to do it. But yeah, as I said, and kind of keep repeating myself here, nothing will quite replace just diving headfirst into it. Oh boy. I think our warrior's going to die. Or maybe not. Nice. Very clean, Odin. LQ when it says 27. And I'm just saying the main reason why I'm like, take some quality time with the striking dummy is because I do feel like there are a lot of players that skip that step. And then are surprised that they don't, like, do enough damage and stuff like that. Oh boy, where are we going now? Ramu Extreme, fantastic. Well, we have people that know me. The Pictomans from earlier is here. Oh, I should swap those. Lightning Man! Oh no. That is already terrible. That tank first got stopped before they could grab the orbs. Right, we will need to talk about the circles. Assuming we don't randomly succeed. Oh boy, I forgot to move. We might not make this. We did make it. I'm shocked that we got out of that intermission with this, with such a healthy party. Did he just skip? Did he just skip the circle AoEs? Huh? I think he did. That's weird. I don't think I've ever seen that before. That's mean. Never seen that before. Too much DPS? I don't think so. Like, what did he skip it for? Like, what was he going to do instead? Yeah, this is over. I think we covered everything. Oh, whoa, okay. We're just going for it. Oh man, this again. Lucky them that I saw them. Just stared at them as they were out of position and was like, oh right, way too late. That's really close on that tank swap. Ugh. Me here just trying to escape the water. Ow. I can't help with orb cleanup for 40 seconds, and I deliberately didn't tell anyone that that was a thing that might need to be done. So hopefully that will not come back to bite me. And yes, I do that. I'll leave out crucial details if it's for the best. Looks like other people have caught on to it a little bit. A little bit. Or they know themselves. Uh-oh. Oh boy. Here it goes. I feel like people here are not at all ready for thinking on their feet. Ah. Yeah. This boss, he's amazing. At this particular time, we got saved by the bell. The orb spawned right next to the tank. Every single pull, he has specifically feared the tank. Like, specifically the tank that needed to not be feared right on the outset. Every single time. It's actually impressive at this point. Good, our Pictomancer saw it. Oh, he's doing the phase transition. That's both good and bad. Well, now I'm not dead. See, that is exactly the reason why every time I explain the whole, like, fear orc thing is I'm like, look, if you don't help, they will die. If you help too much, they might die. It's because, I was there hoping both of them would hit me. Even if it meant that I might die. Because it would still give me a better chance of survival than if they both left me to die. Man. I can't help. I have too many orbs already. Oh, I can't do that. Getting feared. I might die from this. There's so many orbs. Oh, never mind. I should have done that from further out. I was like, he's gonna use Thunder Spark. He's gonna do it. He learned well. But yeah, as some people did already point out in the chat, I deliberately coincidentally forget to mention some mechanics if either A, they don't matter, or B, it's crucial that not too many help with them. For instance, I don't like if it's not important and it doesn't become a problem, I don't explain that orbs do increase the damage of the circle AoEs. Because it doesn't, like, if people are not dying to that, then it doesn't matter. And yeah, I kind of, like, it came up earlier in the Leviathan extreme, is that people ask if Dragoon... I can't remember who asked, but it was like, how's Dragoon at level 50? And I said, they at least have something. You can do a burst, like you can hold cooldowns and damage harder, which was really helpful in that fight. Monk doesn't have that at level 50. Perfect Balance doesn't do anything. It straight up just doesn't do anything. So you can't burst. You might do more sustained damage than a Dragoon at level 50, but if what you need is a lot of damage in a very short time span, then Monk can't do it. They just can't do it. Viper can't really either. They do pretty good damage just per GCD, just like Monk does, but they can't burst. They don't have any at level 50. But Dragoon does. Ninja does. Reaper doesn't really, but they almost do. Samurai could hold like an EI Jutsu to like do big GCD. But yeah, if you're not minimum item level, no echo, then it should be fine. But sometimes if you let the orbs grow, they'll do like 3,000 damage. Which is, like, then the blue circles will do like 3,000 plus damage. Which is the reason why people like, if you get hit by 2, you die. It's because if you ignore all of them, then that becomes true. Yeah, exactly, Andriel. And I try to keep a very strict count of orbs. If I don't end up with the tether myself, then I'll pretty much try to shave us down to like 3 orbs at all times, because 6 orbs makes the circle AoEs hurt too much most of the time, and 4 or 5 orbs don't do anything. Like, it's 3 or 6. Sometimes if it's like, oh, well, the tank buff is running out in a second, then I might wait. I'll say, I raid. Yeah, you were. Good job. But exactly because you might suddenly have too many cooks if you explain how the orbs work. It's often safer to just not explain it. Just, oops, yeah, I forgot. Sorry about that. Maybe. While, like, yeah, that introduces its own danger that maybe I can't do it. Like, if I'm dead or I already have grabbed 3 orbs, then I can't do it. But we had other mentors, so it should be fine. Like, I think I remember this one time where I explained how the orbs worked, and it, like, at the outset, and then we had to, like, dial it back and explain, no, you can't grab orbs at the start. The tank needs all of them. The 4 orbs spawn, and the tank needs 3 so fast that they need the 3 that happens to be closest, which means that you need to leave all of them, so that the tank can grab 3, and then you can do whatever you want with the 4th one, I don't care. But you can't take any right on pull. But if you explain that, oh, actually the orbs are dangerous, someone might be like, oh, I should like vacuum up all of them. And I've done Ramu Extreme a lot, with all sorts of people. And I think I have not, at least in Dawntrail, I have not had a Ramu Extreme that failed on timeout. I have had Ramu Extremes where people left so fast that it was impossible to get a group going. But these days, it's gotten a lot easier, especially when it's live. Like, both healers leaving is sometimes a death sentence for a group. My raid says, I've had one recently where we did actually one-shot him. I've also had that. I've also had it where we just, like, completely goofed it. But somehow, everyone managed to work together well enough that we still cleared first try. Like, I think when I did the video for that I had like a kill counter on the screen for how many players Ramu killed, and I think the counter went to like 16. And we still won. I don't think that one was first try though, but... Yeah, it was nice. I wish I was a job that could contribute a bit more when that happened. In retrospect, I could probably have used Mantra here and there. Not as bad as recent M8, but yeah, true. That one was cursed. Absolutely cursed. Anyway, actually, amazingly, we only got 2 guild tests this time around. That's pretty good. Like, recently I've had like 50% or more guild tests. But we did spend like a third of the stream in 2 extremes, I think. But, I think that means that we'll be rounding off here. So, if you enjoyed this particular stream, it helps me a lot if you know, follow, like, subscribe, all of that goodness. If you'd like to be part of the Discord community server, there's a link in the chat right there. There you will find the weekly schedule. If it's not somewhere else, it's always there. I usually update it Sunday or Monday. You will also find the announcement room with links to videos and streams when I put them out. And if you grab the reminder roll in the role assignments room, I'll give a notification whenever that happens. As well as an extra one around 15 minutes before stream starts, you can catch it right when we go live, with links to any option you would like. Thank you so much for the gifted membership, Isidus. Thanks so much. Very much appreciate the support. That one the overlay can get just right. Okay. And speaking of which, if you would like to support me and the channel more directly, you can... Probably very soon you can do stuff on Twitch as well, but you can, you know, memberships, supers, you can gift memberships. If you don't like any of that, there's also the Ko-Fi link that Aradel posted there. It all helps support me and the channel directly, so I can focus on doing stuff like this with all of you. So thank you so much for the support. But that'll be all from me tonight. So good night, good morning, afternoon, or evening, depending where you are in the world, and I hope to see you all very soon. Bye bye.